Thank you for joining us today. We're going to make some significant announcement about two milestones in our company. Today we are unveiling two projects of a strategic nature in Singapore and in Asia, which is going to aid the Singapore economy and also that of Asia Pacific. We're broadcasting today's event live over the internet using Tata Communications live broadcast using CDN by BitGravity. So our feed is being relayed live to Mumbai by journalists who are watching.
Followed by the then Singapore Prime Minister, Mr. Goh Chok Tong, coming to India in '94 with a 100-strong CEO delegation. I had the privilege of being the president of Confederation of Indian Industry that time and hosted Mr. Goh Chok Tong and his delegation. And I recall his statement when he said that he would like India fever in Singapore. And I think this was not a one-way fever. It also meant a Singapore fever in India. And over the last 15 years, I think that fever has evolved into a very strong economic linkages. And Tata Communications' presence in Singapore is part of that ongoing fever. We will start the event in traditional Indian manner.
I don't think the Tata Group needs any introduction, but just a few tidbits on the magnitude, size, and scale of the group is important for us to point out. First and foremost, the Tata Group is recognized as the sixth most reputable corporation worldwide, and in India, clearly, we are the leading light and beacon as far as reputation and recognition is concerned. Overall, as a group, our revenues are about $60 billion, and what you should note, which is of significance at this conference, is roughly 65% of those revenues actually come from outside India, which shows how quickly the group has gone global, and the activities that we're talking about today are further reflection of the overall direction that's taking place within the Tata Group. At Tata Communications, our firm belief is that there's a new world of communication that's emerging. This new world of communication is driven by several things such as collaboration, increased webification of the way we conduct business and the way we live our lives every day, and the increasing globalization of the economies that's causing us to come together. All this is part of the new world that we're trying to help create and help address. Unfortunately, in the economic times that we face today, there is a sea of red, as you can see in the chart to the left here. But within that sea of red, there is a beacon of hope, and there is the growth in the Asia-Pacific markets, both in 2009 as well as looking forward into 2010. And our focus really has been on how do we create services and how do we enable our customers to make use of not only the new world of communication, the webification, the movement to new kinds of technologies and so on, but also to enable companies to participate in the economies where the action is taking place, specifically in Southeast Asia, in the Middle East, and Africa, in addition to our core markets in India, as well as some of the customers we serve in developed markets. What is also happening around us is today 41% of the world's internet subscribers are in the Asia-Pacific region. And this number is only going to increase. Most of the Western markets are reaching not saturation, but close to saturation as far as internet penetration is concerned. The growth there has been more in the case of broadband, which is the next wave which is building up in Asia Pacific. In the Indian market, for example, there are less than 5 million customers who have true broadband access. In China, the number is significantly more, but still there's another 60% of the market that has to be covered. So we see the action really shifting to the Asia Pacific region, and we're very excited to be part of that. The global internet backbone is growing by about 30% on an annualized basis. The growth in the Asia-Pacific region is in the magnitude of 60% per annum. And this is significant growth that's been occurring on a year-to-year basis, and we see some of this growth and bandwidth consumption actually increasing over the coming years as the customers shift from dial-up to low speed to real broadband that begins from 10 meg in markets like Korea, goes as high as 100 meg connectivity to each home. As far as hosting is concerned, the world is changing very rapidly. What used to be the domain of IT departments, where they ran their own servers and managed it in-house, customers are increasingly realizing, both medium to large customers are realizing that it's far more effective, both when you look at the total cost of ownership, to have somebody else do that for you whose bread and butter business is setting up data centers and managing the servers, providing storage, providing disaster recovery, so on and so forth. The case of our cable project, the project started about 15 months ago, and we're very pleased to announce today the launch of the TGN Intra-Asia cable system that connects Singapore to Japan and then leverages the rest of our cable infrastructure and goes onwards to the US and to other parts of the world.